Da-da-dun, da-da-dun, Data here, and good morning, hockey fans. It is an absolute blockbuster in the NHL as the Columbus Blue Jackets have traded Pierre-Luc Dubois and a third-round selection in the upcoming NHL draft to the Winnipeg Jets for Patrik Laine at 26% salary retained for this next season, and Jack Roslovic, who's also getting an extension, I believe 2 years. Details are still coming out as we go. Trying to get this video out ASAP, so maybe some more details will come out before being uploaded. But essentially what's going to happen in this video, we're going to try to do this trade from the Columbus Blue Jackets perspective. We'll try to do it from the Jets perspective, and then we'll simulate a season and see how these players do on their new teams through an NHL 21 simulation. So the selection for the draft pick, I don't think it's confirmed that it's 2021 yet, but I'm going to assume that it is. They could also be 2022. So Pierre-Luc Dubois, he does have 2 years left at $5 million. Patrik Laine will be on an expiring deal. The Blue Jackets will get him at about 3.593, 3.6 million, as opposed to the 6.624 this year, but then obviously he'll have to be re-signed. Roslovic, not sure on his AAV just yet. So let's just rock and roll, my friends. Pierre-Luc Dubois on a third to Winnipeg. I don't think this would go through. I would give the edge in this trade to the Blue Jackets, so I don't think the Jets would accept this. And yeah, exactly. Trade rejected. I question whether you've even looked at our trade block surplus. Winnipeg is totally unwilling to give up what you've asked for unless you really make it worth our while. I don't think you have. Your offer to us is fulfilling the needs we have, but the value isn't just where it needs to be at all compared to what we are being asked to give up. So a big rejection there from Cheveldayoff and the Winnipeg Jets. But when we switch roles and we tried from the Winnipeg perspective, offering this trade to the Columbus Blue Jackets, and by the way, trade difficulty is on hard. The Blue Jackets also reject. Interesting. The Blue Jackets have this great thing called a trade block. You should check it out. All right. You can just keep the sass out of here, Jarmo Kekalainen. Based on what you're asking us to cough up, it seems you haven't, so you better be willing to give us something outstanding. I don't see that, though. Wow. What you're offering us in return isn't very interesting. It doesn't meet our block needs all that well, and the value just isn't there whatsoever. If you look at the value at the bottom, I would say it is. That is pretty wild. So but neither team wants to make this trade. But what I'm going to have to do is just go into the rosters, make the move myself, and then we're going to simulate a season and see how these players do with their new teams. I'm going to take over a totally different team. We'll simulate a season, see how the coaches put them into the lineup. And of course, it's not totally realistic as it would be an 82-game season, and it would be with the normal division alignments as opposed to how we're seeing this season in the 2021 world. But, you know, it'll just give us a rough idea of what we're in store for. So here's how the lines look over on Columbus. I ended up having to actually take over the Jets because if I didn't, Roslovic would stay as an unsigned RFA. So I went ahead and signed him to a 2-year deal. That seems as though to be the deal that he'll be getting signed to in real life. Gave him an AAV of 1.5 million. The computer puts him on the third line right wing, which seems pretty realistic. Like I said, I did take over the team, but it's still all auto staff management and auto lines, so it'll be just as random as any other simulation. Laine is placed here on the top line, centered by Max Domi and Gustav Nyquist. So I don't know how much center time Domi will be playing with the Blue Jackets. I've been hearing that Alex Texier might be moving up there, but I like this top line for Columbus very much with Laine on the right wing, and of course Roslovic down on the third line. Yeah, I like these lines very much. They have good depth and they have good scoring. Laine also finds himself on the first unit power play at the point, which is very nice. And Roslovic actually centering the second power play unit. So, okay, why not? Get a little extra ice time. Put him in your fantasy lineups. And then over on the Winnipeg Jets, Pierre-Luc Dubois is centering the second line. I like these lines very much. Giving him Nick Ehlers on the wing is beautiful. Wheeler, Scheifele, and Connor not going to get broken up. Little probably wouldn't be on the wing, and Stastny probably wouldn't be on the wing either, so that's a bit weird for these lines. But I like Dubois as the second line center very much. That's where he'll be if he stays on Winnipeg for a very long time. One of the best 1-2 center duos in the NHL, I would say. Despite them paying possibly possibly even overpaying for Dubois, you can't deny that Scheifele Dubois as a 1-2 center punch is not lethal. Special teams time for Dubois. He does get second unit power play centering over there. And yeah, so injuries are turned off, trades are turned off. Like we said, it's an 82 game season with different divisions, so not totally reflective of how this NHL season will be, but it will give us an idea of how they will play on their respective teams with their new line mates. So let's jump to the end of the season and check out their stats. So now at the end of the regular season, looking first at the Blue Jackets, Patrik Laine led the team in scoring, goals, and points, 31 goals, 35 assists, and 66 points through 82 games. He was a -4 and 32 penalty minutes, shooting 10.5%, close to 300 shots, 22 power play points, playing just over 20 minutes a night. Shout out to Mikko Koivu, scoring 54 points. Jack Roslovic scored 12 goals, 22 assists, and 34 points himself. -5, 7 power play points. Meh, not too bad of a season. 34 is great. Only 1 power play goal centering the second unit was a bit weird, but hey, what are you going to do? Defense was not great on Columbus, as Jones and Werenski didn't put up a lot of points, and goaltending was pretty subpar. As you could probably tell by this record, the Jackets did not have a very good season. Over on the Winnipeg Jets, Pierre-Luc Dubois scored 25 goals and 34 assists for 59 points. So although he didn't get as many points, the team as a whole performed a little bit better. Him and Nick Ehlers seemed to play pretty well, as Ehlers scored 49. Not as well as we've seen Ehlers do in the past, and when he's had like Brian Little as his center. So you'd expect a little bit more from Dubois. Still scored 12 power play points, was a +2, took just over 180 shots, playing just about 16 minutes a night. So definitely a reduced role for Pierre-Luc Dubois as opposed to what he was used to in Columbus. Looking at the official team records now, the Jackets ended up going 36, 40, and 6 under 500 at 47.6 winning percentage. They got 78 points and ended 27th in the NHL. Meanwhile, the Jets just missed out on the playoffs by 1 point, as they had 88, right behind Vegas's 89. They went 42, 36, and 4. A pretty good record to miss the playoffs for sure. So it seems as though while Dubois did not play as well as Laine, he helped the team as a whole. Goaltending was definitely huge with Hellebuck versus like Merzlikins and Korpisalo, and you know, in NHL there's coaching chemistry and all kinds of stuff that plays into it that affects how they would play, and if you ran the simulation again, you'd get all kinds of different results. But that is how it is looking. A lot of people are saying that the Jets lost this trade, and maybe they did. It'll really depend on Patrik Laine if he resigns or not in Columbus. Really crazy to see a Blue Jackets logo next to his face. And just to close it out here, let's just go into the off season and see, would Patrik Laine re-sign if we left it up to the computer. And before July 1st hits, the Columbus Blue Jackets did re-sign Patrik Laine to an 8-year, $68.48 million contract, giving him an AAV of $8.56 million. Probably a bit less than he would make, but with 8 years of term, that is a very nice contract for him. So at least in this world, the Jackets hang on to him. We have to simulate another couple seasons to see what happens with Dubois, but I'm sure that the Jets will love to have him as the second line center moving forward. So there's the simulation of this trade. Hard to say winners and losers at the moment, but just a little idea that neither team wants to accept the trade, and that's how they would look on their respective teams. So thanks so much for watching. First time doing a Trade Breakers video kind of thing like this. Inspiration coming from X-Tex videos, so he's great. You should check him out. If you're new to the channel, we just do franchise mode, be a pro, player simulations, all stuff like that. So if you're brand new, hey, check out the channel, maybe subscribe, give it a look. If it's something you like, we would love to have you on board. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on who you think won this trade, and I will see you in the next one.